Amy Satterthwaite was on a maternity break and is all set to come back to action in the series against Australia. I have the current vice captain with me today on Women's Cricket Zone Presents Beyond the Boundary. Amy, how are you? I hope friends and family and colleagues are safe and doing well in these unusual times.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, everyone's pretty safe at the moment, but it's certainly a different environment, that's for sure.
So tell me, first session back to batting, what was that like after the break especially?
Yeah, it was an interesting one. I was a little bit nervous and you sort of worried that you've forgotten how to hit the ball, but deep in a memory bank it was still there, thankfully, and it wasn't too bad actually. It was a nice surprise almost.
So the lockdown and the sort of a stoppage in play, did it in any way sort of help you to get back in action because it sort of coincided with your return to action? So did that in any way sort of be positive in that sense?
Yeah, I think it did. It probably gave me that time to kind of work my way back in. I think physically as much as anything, just gave me a little bit of extra sort of time as while everyone else was sort of in the same boat, stuck at home and not with a whole lot of gym equipment to use. So yeah, it probably was a bit of a blessing in disguise in a way.
Every time we talk something about life, we always compare it to a circle, and it sort of said everything turns in circles. And it's a similar story because your last international series was against Australia. You're coming back and it's a series against Australia. So what was your focus on when you were getting ready to play the series against Australia? Were there specific areas, or was it just getting a feel of having back to ball?
I think there's always a combination. I think definitely getting that bat to ball. I think for all of us, we've been mostly training indoors for 6 months now, and so getting outside on grass, getting the adjustment to the conditions and used to the wickets is always sort of the first part when you get over here. But then also, I think individually, everyone's trying to look at their games and how can we continue to improve and develop new areas. So that's the exciting part about having this sort of extended time to work on things.
I know Grace is traveling with you this time. So how's that different setting? Because generally it's just the cricketing aspect and then take your mind off and relax kind of thing. But now it's about playing as well as motherhood. So how's juggling those roles going so far?
Yeah, it's been really good so far. I think it's still a bit of a learning thing, just getting that juggling right. And obviously, this sort of a tour is different again with the COVID restrictions and that. But yeah, we've been really lucky to have a brilliant nanny that's helping out, and I think that sort of allows you to kind of go to work and focus on that, and then you get to come home and really enjoy being a mum. And it probably makes you enjoy having that time with Grace even more because you do have some time away from her. So yeah, certainly loving it at the moment and enjoying that balance.
So this is something that you don't actually think of whenever you talk about men's cricket or you interact with a player, and I would love to understand that part. That how difficult was it to sort of decide to take a maternity break? Because it was a time when you were sort of going through a nice patch in international cricket, scoring runs, of course, leading the side. And then what was the thought process about taking the break? Because it's often you talk about timing, and this time the timing is about when is it right to take a break, especially when you are on song. So what was that entire process like?
I think it was the right decision for us as a family, and I think as well there probably isn't a right or wrong time. I think in the women's game at the moment there is pinnacle events all the time, which is really exciting on one hand, and then when you're, I guess, considering having a family, it's probably a bit of a challenge. As to, like I say, there's no then kind of right or wrong time, just because there's so many sort of awesome events that you potentially could miss out on. But at the same time, like I said, it was the right decision for us as a family, and you never know kind of how long this sort of process takes and that sort of thing. So I think you can't exactly predict when it's going to happen, and you just kind of roll with it a little bit. But it's sort of is what it is a little bit, and like I say, it's more about the decision for us as a family, and I'm certainly not getting any younger anyway.
In the T20 World Cup earlier this year, it was again a case of so near yet so far for New Zealand. What was it like watching from the sideline, not able to get on the field and do something?
Yeah, it was tough to watch. I think being the first kind of main sort of bit of cricket that I'd probably missed, not being able to be a part of it. But at the same time, I think, I actually went over to Melbourne and watched a little bit of it live. And so I think Grace was about 6 weeks old then. So it was pretty special to be able to take her with us and go and watch. And, a great reminder of, I guess, the journey that we'd gone down as well, that, even though it was tough to watch, I've got something, I guess, bigger and better, at that point in time.
A bit about WBBL, you are back to leading Renegades. 1 year, you didn't play the last season. So mentally, do you have to make any adjustments? Because you are again entering a team that played entire season without you change in personnel otherwise. So what's that like? Is it some adjustment required there?
I don't think so. I think you're fortunate to have a pretty stable squad, and having been around them for a while, I think that makes that side of it a lot easier. And I think as well, I was fortunate enough to be around the squad for about 3 weeks last year, came over and sort of helped out a little bit in a slightly different role. But I think that, again, just meant that I was sort of around the group and seeing how they were going and being a part of that, I think will help, continue to transition back in again, hopefully this year. And look, this year is going to be different for everyone. I think just the nature of it and the sort of environment that we're working in at the moment, it's going to be a really different season for everyone involved.
Coming back to the series, you spoke about you, Susie Bates and Sophie Devine being the 3 wise women in the side. So how's it back to being in the leadership group?
Yeah, it's great. I think, we've obviously all been around for a while now, and it's awesome to still be able to continue to play together and be around each other. And I think we all bring different things to the group, which is exactly what you want in a team environment, and you can kind of feed off each other and help each other out. And the exciting thing for me is seeing the number of, I guess, other people that are starting to sort of step up and really sort of take lead, I guess, in different areas. And I think that's an awesome thing about a team, is the more you've got people stepping up and providing that leadership as well, I think you're in a much better place. So that's a really exciting thing for me that I've probably noticed, having had a little bit of a break, is just seeing the number of players, like I say, growing in confidence just to speak up and really drive this team forward. It's really exciting.
Given the situation around, New Zealand have of course taken a 17-member side to Australia, but Anna Peterson and Leah Kasperek, both these names are missing, and that means New Zealand's a bit sort of shallow in the off-spin department. So will we see you rolling your arm over, considering the number of southpaws in the Australian squad?
Look, I'm not sure about me having a bowl. I've only been sort of getting back into that pretty recent of late. I think batting's been my main focus, just with the adjustment, I guess, getting back into things. But look, we've got some quality spinners in our side still, especially got a couple of really quality leg spinners, and also got the likes of Jess Watkins and Maddie Green that can bowl off spin as well. So there's certainly plenty of options, which is the exciting part for us, I think, giving us that balance. And like you say, then trying to get the matchups right up against the Australians, and they've got a few left-handers and the like, so trying to work out what the best combinations are for us to take them on. And I think as well, looking at our seam options, we've got a nice little variety in there as well. So look, it's really unfortunate that we aren't able to have Anna and Lee on tour, but at the same time, like I say, we've got some really quality options, and almost gives people a great opportunity to be able to step up and sort of fill their shoes almost while they're away.
Lastly, the World Cup that got postponed by a year, did it dampen spirits in the squad, or it's just like you take it positively because you have extra time to prepare for it?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, really. Look, there certainly was a little bit of, I guess, a moment just to be a little bit gutted in a way that it has been postponed. You're building up to such a pinnacle event, and the hype and that around it was already starting to gain momentum. But on the flip side of that, I think everyone's health and safety comes first at the moment, and that's the main priority. And then, like you say, it has given us a really unique opportunity to have an extra sort of 12 months to really hone our skills, and I think is only going to be a good thing for this group. And I think the momentum that we're starting to gain is pretty exciting, and to think that we've got an extra kind of bonus 12 months up our sleeves to see where we can get to for that World Cup's actually a really exciting place to be.
Amy, I thank you for your time. I really appreciate you taking time to talking to us. I wish you all luck for the next couple of months for the series against Australia as well as the WBBL. Go well.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.